we had Jack Catterall and Arnold Barboza. This was for the vacant WBO interim super lightweight belt. And this fight was a very tactical fight, right? A fight that didn't have a lot of action, but it was very close. Some hard rounds to score. The hometown fighter, Catterall, fighting at home, obviously in the UK, versus Barboza, the visitor, coming in. Catterall, the counterpuncher, more elusive, where Barboza was more coming forward, trying to be the aggressor. Very close fight. In the end, Barboza wins a split decision, wins the title. What'd you think of the fight?
First of all, I want to give credit to the judges. I get on them, especially when they're dealing with a hometown, home country fighter. You could give them home cooking sometimes, and I destroy them. But rightfully so, I might say. Rightfully so. Somebody's got it's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to point out when it's wrong. Instead of just going along to get along and to be friendly with everybody and, no. Our job here is comes with a responsibility to set things straight as best we can. Well, it doesn't mean we're right, but it means that we are not controlled by any biases. We are just shooting it straight from my experience of 50 years in the business, shooting it straight of what I believe happened. Not influenced by anything else. And the judges, they did a good job. A lot of times they don't. Too often they don't, but they did a damn good job. I give them credit for that. At the end of the day, my question going in was identity. I always say one of the most important things for a fighter is to have an identity. Know who you are. You can't be Joe Frazier one minute, Muhammad Ali the next. You gotta know how you make your living. You gotta know, when you put the feet on the floor in the canvas, who are you? What are you? And I wasn't sure about Barboza. I seen him be aggressive. Then I saw in his last fight that got him here. His last fight with the former champion, where he had a tremendous performance.
There's Jose Ramirez.
Yeah, tremendous performance. But he boxed. He boxed on the outside. He counterpunched. He used his jab. He controlled the geography, as I talk about, on the outside. He owned the outside. And look, he did it smart because Ramirez is the guy who wanted to own the geography inside. So what did he do? He showed he's smart. He boxed on the outside. His people too. He boxed on the outside. Robert Garcia, right? I mean, again, right? He's the trainer, right? Robert Garcia with Barboza. No,
Barboza is trained by his father.
Oh, his father, I'm sorry. But
Yeah.
his father did a great job. Garcia's got so many champions, I don't know who the hell he's got anymore. Because he's unbelievable. He's taken over the business with champions all over the place. But and he won the Ring Magazine Award for Trainer of the Year. And that was tough competition. Andy Lee, what's his name? Charles, the trainer for Duplessis, Dubois.
For Daniel Dubois, Don Charles.
Yeah, Don Charles. I mean, there was a lot of competition that all deserved a shot at Trainer of the Year, but Robert Garcia won it and he deserved it. Look, getting back to this, it was about Barboza, what Barboza was going to show up. Was he gonna box, or was he gonna have to come forward? To me, that was the first question in my analysis and handicapping of the fight. And we went over that before the fight. I think we went over it in a very interesting way, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it makes sense because he did struggle the fight before Ramirez versus McCombs, where he got the decision that was very controversial.
Yeah, that was one of the times I wasn't kind to the judges. Not kind at all. Matter of fact, they sucked. Okay? Can I put it more clearly? They sucked in that one. But they were good yesterday in England in this one. And Barboza, so my first thing was, which Barboza's going to show up? I was joking when we were doing a live stream, that old show, What's My Line? Where you have a panel of people and you try to guess who they are. And then at the end, okay, will the real Arnold Barboza please stand up? And then the guy said, oh, wow, I didn't know it was him. So we got Barboza. We found out what he was going to do. And I was giving my analysis, and my assuming, my calculation on which one it would be. And my calculation was the burden would be on him, being that he was fighting Catterall, a pure counterpuncher, a pure counterpuncher. That's how he makes his living. That he was going to have the burden, the pressure, where he would have to come forward. He would have to come forward. But here is the real key. This is the real key. Can he come forward without accommodating the counterpuncher who wants you to come forward, without falling into his traps, without leaving himself available to get countered all night? So what does that mean? That means he would have to come in patiently, controlled, behind the jab, use feints, knock on the front door, see if somebody's there before you barge in. And he did that. Feint, get the guy to change his distance, get Catterall, to make that counter move prematurely. And then instead of falling into a trap, now you know where to find him safely, in a safe way. See, this is boxing 101. This is maybe boxing 105 because it's a little advanced. This is the sweet science. And that's what he did. The sweet science could be shown many ways. It could be shown counterpunching. It could be shown using your legs, controlling outside, setting traps. It could be shown being aggressive, like the great Roberto Duran, being an aggressive puncher, forcing you to punch, make you miss, and make you pay. There's so many ways. But make no mistake about it, people, the sweet science was on display with Barboza because he figured out the right way. And I gave credit to Bomac and his people for having Keyshawn Davis ready for the right fight plan. Well, let me give credit. Let me give credit to the father and the team of Barboza for having him ready. They had the right ID, they had the right idea, the right approach, and they inched their way in. They came in a calculating, controlled, definitive way where they didn't leave themselves open to the strength of Catterall, to counterpunches. They came in first, they feint a little, they come in behind the jab, they brought their feet, they didn't get anxious, they didn't rush in, they didn't do the things that a counterpuncher looks to make you do, to make a living, to get reckless. Their aggression was not reckless. It was smart, it was controlled, it was contained. It was beautiful. It was magnificent. And I'm glad the judges didn't ruin a good night. Yeah, there were a lot of close rounds. There were close rounds. It was a competitive fight. It was a close fight. But Barboza won it. He won it. He earned it. He earned it. So at the end of the day, Catterall tried to do his thing. And then by doing what Barboza did, he showed, again, the cerebralness that he came in a very patient, controlled manner. Customato used to say to me, Teddy, make hay slowly. What the hell does that mean? What is that? Figure it out. I figured it out. That's what Barboza did. He made hay slowly. And he came in a controlled manner. He was controlling the fight. He was being a boss. And what else was he doing? Well, besides not letting Catterall, play his music, his counterpunching music, because he didn't cooperate and give him what he wanted to be a counterpuncher. Hey, you can't be a counterpuncher if there's nothing to counter, right? That's pretty simple. And that's what he did. But then there were spots where Barboza, Bud, took it on the outside. He's got good length, and he's got a good jab. He took it on the outside, and he controlled that. And then what did he do? He made Catterall, who felt like he was fall behind, felt like there was becoming urgency, felt like the fight might be getting a little dicey, a little bit away from him. What did he do? He forced Catterall to do something that he doesn't do, that he's not set up to do, to come forward and get a little anxious, and left him open, left the counterpunch open to counterpunching. Nice mix. Really, really beautiful. Beautiful, nice mix there. At the end of the day, interesting fight. I know a lot of people say, Catterall's boring. Listen, to me, there was a little chess going on. There was enough intrigue. There was, if you're a real fan of the sport, I don't I don't say that I don't mind a Rocky 1, 2, 3, 4. How many Rockies are there, Rich? I mean, 400 of them. Something like, oh, he's counting 8. Okay, there's 8. Thank you, Rich. I knew you would be exact about that. Oh no, 9. Okay, thank you. I knew you correct yourself too. My man Richie here, he's doing a great job. Uh, I don't mind watching a Rocky movie where it's Rock'em Sock'em. Nobody really does. But I love when it's also the science. And you got to see that. Where people have to be strategic. And Barbosa had to be strategic. And he was strategic. So congratulations. Congratulations to him and his team.